Proudly broadcasting from the Richard Philip Cavallaro studio.
WRHU.
Hempstead.
You've discovered
a cornerstone of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication.
WRHU.
Now, Long Island's largest radio news team brings you the Associated Press award-winning program, Newsline.
Coming up on Newsline Wednesday, February 28, 2024.
Joe Biden and Donald Trump won each of their Michigan primaries.
Now on to other twists and turns in Michigan. Tornadoes and storms leave destruction.
Mitch McConnell will step down in November.
And wildfires rage in Texas and shut down a nuclear arms facility.
In world news tonight, Ghana's parliament cracks down on LGBTQ rights, and a funeral for Alexei Navalny will be held on Friday. With concerns of possible arrests, I'm Isaac Burdell, and I'll have all that and more later in the broadcast.
Politicians take a stand. Calls for criminal consequences in wake of controversial Berliner award show. TKO's quarterly revenue skyrockets to $614 million, and the hit reality show Survivor is back with its 46th season premiering today. I'm Daka Sumaru, and I'll have all of this and more later in the broadcast.
In sports, the Mets were back in action today for spring training, while the Jets have granted Zach Wilson permission to seek a trade. I'm Nate Taylor, and I'll have all that and more later in the broadcast.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Peter Nicolino.
And I'm Fatma Mo, and we begin tonight's broadcast in Michigan. With the Michigan primary finishing up yesterday, the political landscape for 2024 becomes clearer and clearer. Joe Biden and Donald Trump seem to remain in control of their parties, and you'll likely see their names representing the Democratic and Republican votes come November. But for this upcoming election, the competition is still tense. Backlash over his handling of the war in Gaza has supporters losing faith in Biden, while Nikki Haley still displays support from Republicans who want a chance.
The idea that those now moving into the RNC are saying the RNC is only going to be about Donald Trump, you can hang up House, you can hang up Senate, and the rest of the ticket. It is now becoming, the Republican Party is now becoming Donald Trump's playpen.
Regardless, next week's Super Tuesday elections will help us inch closer to seeing who we will have on the ballot box.
In November, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will resign. The 82-year-old made his announcement earlier today in the Senate well. McConnell has been the Republican leader for the longest period of time in American history, having held the position for nearly 20 years.
One of life's most underappreciated talents is to know when it's time to move on to life's next chapter. So I stand before you today, Mr. President, and my colleagues, to say this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate.
His choice marks a significant shift in the Republican Party's ideology, as this change will most likely help former President Trump in his bid for president in 2024. As his Senate term expires in January 2027, McConnell stated that he intends to continue serving the Senate, quote, albeit from a different seat in the chamber.
Chicago and other locations in the Great Lakes region have been hit by severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, leaving uprooted trees, fallen power lines, and a path of destruction. After touching down in Michigan's Grand Blanc Township, close to Flint, trees and gas lines were torn up, leading to gas leaks across a large area in the township. One resident of the area, Clayton Swatch, shared the devastation on his property and his experience.
It's been bad here, 60-mile-an-hour winds before where the trees are like this. And, we had a few limbs break off. I think the tornado went right through here. Yeah. Look at them two pine trees in my backyard, snapped them right off. Yeah. So what are you going to do?
Sound courtesy of Julian Lichet, Guadalupe. So far, no injuries or casualties have been reported by Michigan fire and police officials.
Multiple wildfires, including one that developed into one of the biggest in state history, are currently scorching the Texas Panhandle. As of this morning, authorities have not recorded any deaths or injuries, but did issue a warning stating that there might be significant harm to the High Plains villages.
We've had other fire threats, and we've came out unscathed, and this one got us. It was heartbreaking. I broke down, but we were safe. It's just stuff. It can be replaced, but it's still a gut punch. A lot of memories.
The Texas A&M Forest Service reports that the greatest fire has grown to over 800 square miles and is spilling into portions of neighboring Oklahoma. Memphis County Emergency Management Coordinator Bill Kendall reports that about 40 homes were burned around the perimeter of the town of Canadian, but no buildings were lost inside the community.
Coming up after your Newsline International report with Isaac Brendel, Tom Swazi has now sworn into Congress. A Dix Hills man is accused of scamming an elder out of $300,000, and New York City Democrats reject a redistricting plan. But first, your Newsline traffic and weather update with Jack Freddy. WRHU News Time is 5:35.
Newsline. Up to the minute local traffic.
Brakes need to be pumped on the One-Star State Parkway heading westbound due to a maintenance vehicle slowing down traffic. On the Belt Parkway heading eastbound between Francis Lewis Boulevard on exit 24 and Merrick Boulevard on exit 25, 5-minute delays are expected due to road construction blocking off the right lane. It's a bad day for the Belt Parkway as between exit 1 and exit 3, another accident is causing congestion of up to 5 minutes, so please remember to drive safely. On the Northern State Parkway heading eastbound, the off-ramp between Grand Central Parkway East and the Cross Island Parkway off exit 23 is blocked off due to construction. Road construction is also on the Sunrise Highway and has closed the left lane onto Route 27 heading eastbound and the right shoulder onto Route 24 heading westbound. Returning to the Long Island Railroad, the train from Ronkonkoma to Grand Central is currently operating 10 to 15 minutes late. All other trains are still operating on or close to schedule. Soaring into the skies at JFK International Airport, due to inclement weather, departure traffic destined to Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport in Washington, D.C. is currently experiencing delays averaging up to 37 minutes. Departure traffic destined to Newark International Airport is also currently experiencing delays that are averaging up to 1 hour and 8 minutes. The current temperature outside of our studio here in Hempstead is 54 degrees, with temperatures expected to reach a frigid 32 degrees come nightfall. With your Newsline traffic update, I'm Jack Ferretti, and I'll be back with another update coming up later in the broadcast.
Newsline International News.
Ghana's parliament has unanimously passed a new bill that will impose a prison sentence of up to 3 years for anyone who is convicted of defining as LGBTQ+. The bill, which was introduced to the parliament in 2021, also imposes a maximum 5-year sentence for anyone who forms or funds an LGBTQ plus related group, and a 10-year sentence for anyone who is involved in an advocacy campaign targeted at children. The bill can now be signed into law by President Nana Akufo-Addo, something he said he would do if the majority of Ghanaians want him to. Gay sexual acts have already been illegal in Ghana, carrying a 3-year prison sentence.
2021 be taken through the third reign. Say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2021 is read the third time and passed.
The funeral of late Russian opposition politician Alexei Navalny is set to be held in Moscow on Friday. Navalny's wife, Yulia Navalny, says that she is unsure if the memorial will be peaceful for all mourners and fears that some could be arrested. Navalny gained popularity for his criticism of Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin. He passed away at the age of 47 on February 16th. The Russian government denies any involvement in his death. With your Newsline World Report, I'm Isaac Brendel, WRHU.
WRHU News Time is 5:38. Thank you to Jack and Isaac for those reports. Nearly 10 years of planning and fighting in and out of Nassau County courts, the Long Island Advocate debuted a 5-part podcast breaking down a major win for immigrant families in Farmingdale, Long Island. WRHU's Fatima Moen spoke with the tenants of the Secatog 9 about their struggles and patience through the process.
Ay, no me gustó porque llegué tarde, pero me hubiera gustado llegar con anticipación, pero problemas de tráfico. Pero los felicito porque se han presentado los estudiantes y era mi propósito, mirar a todos.
I wasn't happy that I showed up late, but again, it's traffic problems. What can you do? But I wanted to congratulate them, everything the students did and the way that they presented today.
That was Nick Radulescu translating for Ana Maria Gomez, a mother and an immigrant from Mexico, one of the 9 voices behind the Que Pasa Long Island, the story of the Secatog 9. She expressed her journey landing in Farmingdale and the struggles that brought her to speak before the Hofstra community and share the now success story on fighting discrimination in suburban Long Island. She went on to explain that her start in the fight all began looking out for her own blood.
El más difícil, el cual yo tomé ese caso y se vino todo junto es porque mi hijo fue como, ¿cómo se dice? Él trabajaba para una persona de ese pueblo y lo acusó de robo cuando él sabía que no era robo. Mi hijo chocó la camioneta, lo cacheteó.
The hardest part of this case for me, which is why I started, the reason why I did it in the first place, was my son. He was accused, the person that he worked for in the town accused him of robbing when he knew that he hadn't done it.
Another tenant joined on the panel was Isadoro Rivero, an immigrant from El Salvador, who spoke highly of the miraculous help from Hofstra's very own law students that led the litigation in court.
Porque con tantos problemas que teníamos, pues nosotros no teníamos voz ni voto para nada porque no sabíamos qué hacer.
And with these problems that we had, we didn't have a voice or a vote. We didn't know what to do about it.
Pues él se puede decir que cayó como un ángel del cielo para nosotros, él y sus alumnos.
You could say that he was like an angel that fell from the sky for us, him and his students.
Eso es un buen punto. That's a good place to get into the next step.
Attorney Meredith Ryan also opened up about the creative and unconventional methods of visualizing the case that ultimately led to a win nearly 10 years later.
As you can see, there's a storyboard up on the screen, so I can navigate you through that. So the idea of a storyboard is really about organization. It is to take every single little bit of evidence you have, organize it either by witness, not only to organize what order you want to call witnesses in, but to organize what order you want the story to play out in that witness, or do you want a story to play out over several witnesses?
The night brought hope and smiles across young and old faces and hopes for future successful cases. And who knows, a possible season 2 of the series. Reporting from Hofstra's Law School, I'm Fatma Moen, WRHU.
Thank you, Fatima, for that report.
My pleasure, Peter. Tom Suozzi will be sworn in to fill the vacant seat left by George Santos's expulsion. His return to the House will further reduce the Republicans' narrow majority from 219 to 213. Suozzi, who previously served in Congress, won a special election earlier this month after running for his old seat again. His victory was seen as a boost for Democrats as they aim to regain control of the House.
According to a witness testimony yesterday, the former CFO of the Schechter School of Long Island, accused of stealing over $8.4 million, removed binders from financial information from his office. Suffolk County Deputy Investigator George Bean testified that David Ostrov removed 3 binders in May 2022, 2 weeks after he was suspended from his job for stealing educational funds. Bean says the removal of the binders was captured on surveillance video and was shown during his trial in Riverhead.
Police are searching for a Central Islip man suffering from Alzheimer's. 68-year-old Daryl Clark was last seen leaving South Shore Hospital in Bayshore at noon on Monday. At the time, Clark was wearing a gray and burgundy sweatsuit, as well as a blue coat and black sneakers. Officials asked that anyone with information on Clark contact 3rd Squad detectives.
Police reported a drunk driver without a license crashed into a minivan in Brooklyn, leading to a chain reaction accident that injured 10 bus passengers and 4 minivan riders. 60-year-old Jerome Wallace hit the minivan while it turned left onto Livonia Avenue, then struck a parked car, and an MTA bus later sideswiped the vehicles. Wallace faces charges including driving while intoxicated and endangering a child.
A Dix Hills man is accused of scamming a Brooklyn woman hundreds of thousands of dollars over plumbing renovations. According to Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez, 46-year-old Amdio Ali charged the woman over $300,000 for a large-scale plumbing renovation, but never completed it. Gonzalez says Ali was hired to renovate a 2-story house in Bergen Beach and provided the homeowner with a plumber's license number that wasn't his. Ali is due back in court in April.
The Shelter Island Town Board will be 1 member short for the remainder of the year, now leaving the board with 4 members, 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. The board failed to reach a consensus on appointing a 5th member to the board after interviewing 11 potential candidates. This was followed by a vote to request to the governor's office a special election for the vacant seat. The vote ended in a deadlock.
Democrats in New York legislature have rejected a congressional map proposed by the state's bipartisan redistricting commission. The Democratic-dominated legislature will now work on submitting and approving a new set of congressional lines in the coming days. Meanwhile, Republicans are considering a potential legal challenge.
Newsline. Breaking news.
Richard Lewis, known for his work on Curb Your Enthusiasm alongside Larry David, has passed away today at the age of 76. Lewis, who shared his Parkinson's diagnosis in 2023, died in his home in Los Angeles after suffering a heart attack. Nicknamed the Prince of Pain, Lewis was selected as one of Comedy Central's top 50 stand-up comedians of all time, and was also involved with numerous charitable causes prior to his passing, like Comedy Relief and Comedy Gives Back.
$450,000 is going to upgrades in North Babylon and Deer Park. The money comes from the over $27 million Babylon received from the American Rescue Plan during President Joe Biden's first year in office. The money is going to improvements of building exteriors in North Babylon and general revitalization efforts to Deer Park's downtown. The North Babylon improvements will be similar to a program in Kapag, which revamped 7 buildings.
Coming up, your Newsline Entertainment Report with Dorcas Umaru. But first, your Newsline Traffic and Weather Update with Jack Ferretti. WRHU News Time is 5:46.
Newsline. Up to the minute local traffic.
Speeding onto the Long Island Expressway, on I-495 West at Lakeville Road near Exit 33, an accident has led to congestion resulting in delays of up to 15 minutes up to New Hyde Park Road off Exit 34. Traffic buildup is leading to heavy congestion on the Southern State Parkway with average speeds of 14 miles per hour in between Newbridge Road and Belmore Road heading eastbound. A little further east in your travels, there will be another accident on the Southern State Parkway west at Wanta Avenue on Exit 28, slowing down traffic by nearly 10 minutes up to Broadway off Exit 30. The Southern State continues to have it rough as a disabled vehicle heading eastbound off of Wonton State Parkway at Exit 27 is slowing down all vehicles up to Route 107 off Exit 25. There's high volume traffic at Hempstead Turnpike near Hofstra University and resulting in 22 mile per hour speed limit. Traveling onto the Long Island railroads this evening, currently all rails are still operating on or close to schedule, but please remember to travel safely. Coming back to JFK, scheduled off the expressway, there is road work on Terminal 4 departure ramp. The road work is expected to last from February 29th to Saturday, March 2nd. Due to high wind speeds, departure traffic destined to LaGuardia Airport, New York, is currently experiencing delays averaging 27 minutes. All other flights are operating on or close to schedule. It's currently 51 degrees and cloudy outside of our studio here in Hempstead. Remember to pack the umbrella as after clear skies tomorrow with an average air temperature of 35 degrees, expect a week of stormy weather with temperatures averaging 45 degrees. With your Newsline Traffic and Weather Report, I'm Jack Ferretti.
Newsline. Entertainment.
The prestigious Berlino Film Festival, held annually in Berlin, came under fire after several winners at the film festival made controversial remarks and gestures that were perceived as offensive to the Israeli government. The backlash has sparked a national conversation about the boundaries of artistic expression and the responsibilities of cultural institutions in combating hate speech. The German government has condemned the incidents and vowed to take actions to address the issue. TKO has reported $614 million in quarterly revenue. This comes as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson joined the company's board of directors. TKO secured new media rights deal for its pro wrestling programming. WWE Raw is heading to Netflix in 2025. Meanwhile, NXT will air on the CW starting in October. Today marks the premiere of the highly anticipated 46th season of the hit reality TV show Survivor, hosted by Jeff Probst. Tune in tonight at 8 p.m. as a group of castaways battle it out for the title of Sole Survivor and $1 million. For your Newsline Entertainment Report, I'm Dorcas Umaru, WRHU.
WRHU News Time is 5:49. Thank you, Jack and Dorcas, for those reports. Last week, WRHU reporter Isaac Brendel took a visit to the Emily Lowe Art Gallery at Hofstra to check out its newest exhibit, Les Visionnaires. In the modernist spirit, the exhibit features work from multiple collections and features a variety of French artists.
The artwork is pretty cool, and we have a lot of really nice
artists and translations of artwork here.
Earlier today at Emily Lowe Hall, an exhibit on Les Visionnaires in the Modern Spirit was open to the public. The exhibit highlights French art from a variety of different artists whose work in the late 19th and early 20th centuries is described as groundbreaking.
The theme of this exhibit is about French artwork and how it relates to people nowadays.
Student employees at the exhibit say that both students and faculty have visited.
During the week, we usually get classes, whether it's little elementary school students or sometimes we have professors bring their students in. On the weekends, we usually see a lot of people in the community to stop by, and they like to look around. I would say on the weekends, we usually get 8 to 10 people per day, Saturday and Sunday.
The exhibit is one of many seen at the Lowe Art Gallery. It features art from multiple large collections and is being displayed in conjunction with the Society for French Historical Studies' annual conference hosted by Hofstra from March 14th to 16th. The exhibit will be on display until July 26th. It is seen as an opportunity for the public to see rare and unique pieces such as lithographs, ceramics, and more. Reporting for Newsline, I'm Isaac Brendel, WRHU.
Merci to Isaac Brendel for that report.
After years of record-high inflated prices for cars, the going rate for automobiles looks to be slowing and in some areas is experiencing a rapid declining in prices. In addition to the lower prices, many dealer lots are being restocked with cars after several shortages. According to Associated Press statistics, there are currently 2.6 million new cars, SUVs, and trucks on dealer lots nationwide, an intense increase from the 1.7 million units that were available in 2023.
Georgia House Republicans are pushing a new approach to regulate illegal immigration, requiring police departments to help identify, arrest, and deport undocumented immigrants. This comes as a result of the recent killing of a Georgia nursing student by immigrant Jose Ibarra last week, sparking a ripple effect in Washington as House Republicans seek new immigration laws to address the immigration matter in the country more urgently. The proposal has made its way to the House for further debate as what seems to be a broader effort to bolster border security and pass more strict immigration laws.
Some ease may be coming to Kentucky's near-total abortion ban. This comes after Republican State Representative Ken Fleming proposed a bill to the GOP-controlled House of Representatives. If passed, the bill would make abortions legal in Kentucky in cases of rape and incest, but for up to 6 weeks after a woman's last menstrual cycle at the beginning of a pregnancy. Kentucky is one of 14 other Republican-led states that have a ban on abortion at all stages of pregnancy.
The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments today about a Trump-era ban on bump stocks, an accessory to firearms that are used in the deadliest mass shootings in the United States. The petitioner is a Texas gun store owner. Michael Cargill claims the Trump administration and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms didn't follow federal law when creating this ban. The accessory was used in the Las Vegas shooting in 2017 and allows semi-automatic weapons to fire like a machine gun. The Biden administration is defending the ban while federal district courts have been divided on the bump stock rule.
Over 381,000 Toyota Tacoma pickup trucks have been recalled. This comes after findings that a part can separate from the rear axle. The recall affects certain 2022 and 2023 models of the truck. It was initiated after Toyota discovered that the welding of the axles can cause nuts and bolts to come undone over time. In a statement, Toyota says that all damaged components will be repaired or replaced, and customers will be notified in late April. Toyota has not released whether there have been any accidents or injuries as a result of the part.
Jeep drivers, listen up. Chrysler is recalling over 300,000 Jeeps due to a steering wheel issue. The problem is causing drivers to lose control of their vehicles. The recall is specifically for the 2021 to 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L and 2020 to 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee models. In documents posted on Tuesday by the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the upper control arm ball joint and steering knuckle could separate, which would cause the steer to fall outward. If your car is impacted, head over to your local dealership and they will replace the upper control arm pinch bolts for free.
Wendy's have signaled that the chain is looking to try a new surge pricing policies next year, a strategy which is typical of ride-sharing and ticket sellers. The new policy will affect pricing throughout the day, with prices changing throughout the day during periods of high demand. During a conference call earlier this month, Wendy's CEO Kirk Tanner said that as early as 2025, Wendy's will also use AI-enabled menu changes and suggestive selling. Wendy's corporate is looking to invest over $30 million over the next 3 years to launch and enhance digital menu boards nationally and globally.
New data suggests that the monthly number of abortions in the U.S. have remained the same since Roe v. Wade was overturned. The report came from the Society of Family Planning, a nonprofit that promotes research on abortion care and contraception. The report found that while abortions had dropped to near zero in states with full bans, states that border those with bans have had a noticeable increase in monthly abortions. The data was pulled from abortion care providers across the country and made public in less than 6 months, much faster than the CDC, whose most recent report is from 2021.
Coming up, your Newsline Sports Break with Nate Taylor. WRHU News Time is 5:56.
From the Philip Cavallero Sports Desk, this is your Newsline Sports Update.
In sports MLB, the Mets were back in action today in Port St. Lucie for their 5th game of spring training. The Amazons took down the Cardinals 3-0. Peyton Battenfield picked up his first win of the spring. Pete Alonso went yard for the first time, and Trace Thompson hit his second homer. Over in the Bronx, there's some potentially good news for Yankees fans. Former All-Star catcher Jose Trevino could be close to a return. According to the New York Post, Trevino, who started spring training with a calf injury, has been catching at live batting practices and bullpen sessions. He ramped up his activities yesterday and could be ready for a return to the field next week. NFL, it seems the Jets and Zach Wilson marriage could finally be nearing an end. GM Joe Douglas told reporters that he has given Wilson permission to look for a change of scenery. Wilson is now allowed to talk with all 31 other NFL teams, and there is not expected to be a competitive market for him. More on the Jets, former receiver Mecole Hardman went on the Pivot podcast and had a few things to say about his time with the team. Before being traded to Kansas City and catching a Super Bowl winning touchdown, Hardman said he was mentally checked out in New York. While still with the Jets, he reached out to the Chiefs GM Brett Veach and Patrick Mahomes, saying, "Come get me." When asked why he wanted out, he stated, "It's the lies and the way they handled me. I didn't like it at all." Meanwhile, the NFL Players Association survey came back today, and the Giants were among the best grades, finishing 8th out of 32 teams. The team received A- in the training staff and head coach categories. Brian Dable scored 13th among the peers. Players described him as very willing to listen to the locker room. With your Newsline Sports Update, I'm Nate Taylor.
And that will do it for tonight's edition of Newsline. Many thanks to the entire WRHU News team. Engineering our show this evening is Survivor #1 fan, Jason Spiller.
Thank you for tuning in into Newsline, only here on your 4-time Marconi Award-winning radio station, 88.7 FM, Radio Hofstra University.
Access real-time, local, Long Island, New York, and global news, along with content from WRHU talent Monday through Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m.
And tune back in from 7 to 9 Monday through Friday morning for our talk show where we discuss Long Island life, national news, and international issues from the minds and mouths of Hofstra students on the morning wake-up call.
Lastly, check us out on social media at WRHU News for behind-the-scenes content.
For Newsline, it's your girl, Fatima Moen.
And I'm your boy, Peter Nicolino.
Thank you for listening.
And have a great night.
Newsline is a presentation of Long Island's largest radio news team, comprised of nationally recognized student broadcasters, winners of numerous awards from the Associated Press, Society of Professional Journalists, Radio Television News Directors Association, Hearst Corporation, Long Island Press Club, and other prestigious organizations. Newsline is researched and produced by student journalists using the Hofstra News Hub, cutting-edge multimedia news gathering technology, located in Hofstra's School of Communication. To learn more about News Hub and the Hofstra School of Communication, log on to hofstra.edu. To learn more about News Hub and the Hofstra School of Communication, log on to WRHU.org.